So this is Startup. It's going to be a series of videos that's going to help the beginner photographers to learn a few things so then they can start shooting like a pro in no time.
If you want to get creative with your photography, then these trio of things are what you should learn about first.
So in this first episode, we're going to learn about three things, right? So first is the aperture, and then is the shutter speed, and something known as the ISO, whatever that is. You're going to tell me, right?
Right. So common things about aperture, ISO, and shutter speed, a lot of people think it's all about remembering all the numbers, and it's actually a lot simpler than that. So we're going to go look into what they mean and how to make it easier for you.
Okay, wait. We're going to talk about aperture, right?
Aperture? Hey. So, I love aperture. So, do you know aperture?
No, that's
okay,
why
let me
I
explain it.
asked.
Okay, cool. So aperture is all about the amount of light that is allowed through the lens. So if you imagine you had a cup that can change in size, so if the smaller the aperture, then the less light that comes through traveling. You get more things in focus from the point of where you are focusing from. So you get more depth in your photos. Were you listening?
Yeah, totally. Like,
where'd you get the coffee from?
Did you want some?
No.
It's really good. Okay, I got it. Depth of field. Yes, focus. I heard you. Let's just show everyone how it works, shall we? Yeah?
Fine.
Okay, when it comes to aperture, like a smaller aperture is going to give you a longer depth of field, meaning it's almost like the same thing as having really good vision when you see everything really clearly. So this is what I'm doing right now.
Inversely, if you have a large aperture, a smaller f number, you get less depth of field. So your subject will be in focus and things behind and in front of it will be not so in focus.
Yo, let's talk about shutter speed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so shutter speed is about how long it takes for the shutter of the camera to click when you're taking the picture. So depending on how long you set it for, it can be for 1 second or you getting it? Are you listening? Are you listening?
Yeah.
You're not gonna go buy some coffee or something?
No, I got it. I'm just gonna put it into action. Go.
What, now what, you're gonna show? Okay, cool. You know what, we'll just show you.
A slower shutter speed means the shutter's open for longer. Great for emphasizing how fast I'm riding this bike. Look at that motion blur. But because the shutter is open for longer, it's easy for your shots to look blurry. The fact that a longer shutter speed lets more light in means that it's good for low light shots, but you might need to get a tripod. Fast shutter speed will freeze any motion. It's also ideal for handheld shots because you have less chance of handshake blurring your shots, but faster shutter speed lets less light in. Anyway, talking about lack of light.
If you ever fall into one of these everyday situations where you're taking a picture under a bike rack in the middle of nowhere where there's no light, these are some things that you can use to help you get a better image in that situation. So say if you want to use a faster shutter speed but you don't have that light source that you need, then you can boost up the ISO so that you can still shoot at a faster shutter speed. So what you'll find is the higher the ISO that you're shooting in, the image quality might get affected a little bit and it'll be a little bit grainy. So that's actually called noise. So if you're shooting an outdoor area where there's quite a lot of bright light, you want to keep the ISO as low as possible. And then you'll just be changing the aperture and maybe the shutter speed depending on the situation.
That's it for this episode. So everyone just subscribe to us because in our next episode, we're going to tell you how to mess around with the PASM modes or wait, is it PASM or is it PASM?
It's a PASM.
PASM. Yeah, we're gonna tell you how to mess around with that. What was that?
That's my inner geek coming out.
You're like,
oh yeah.